All right. So we're going to combine these two together because the roadmap is always such a small thing now. But the monthly report has got a lot of stuff in it. So we're going to talk roadmap roundup and monthly report right now. Let's start out with the roadmap. The every 2 weeks thing, and this is just release view, and these are all things that are now committed. Uh, Maintenance missions. Cool. Every time I've done them, they're still broken. I haven't done them in a while, so hopefully they're fixed. But I just look at these as this is some very rudimentary stuff, but maybe this is what maintaining your base will be like in the future. Maybe it's a little look at like, hey, how can we make base maintenance like a thing at some point? Fuses going out, pipes wearing, having to use a little RMC to repair here and there, and see if it's fun. Animal population control missions. The ones that I've done are not worth doing, but I don't know if they progress and get better as you go on. I used to love to do these because they brought you to caves. And then these are, okay, take a mission and go figure out where these things are. So it is a little bit more on the like, don't hold your hand, read the journal, ask around, like kind of a little bit more like old school MMOE. Like, here you have this mission in front of you, but we're not exactly going to tell you how to complete it. Go figure it out yourself. I do think that that's kind of cool. But yeah, apparently these have really good rep increases for mercenary stuff. So if you want to, gain mercenary rep with whoever is offering these missions, because off the top of my head, I can't think of it. I'm assuming Foxwell, then that's kind of cool. So yeah, kind of like that. So just pointing that out as that's a nice thing. High point, there you go, is the not hand holding part. But I think without the current with the current planet tech and the way animals are spawned and distributed, like, remember how much people struggled to find like cave copian horn and like tundra copian horn and stuff like that. I hope that those get a little bit easier. Like, I don't know. I always look back at like something. There's only one thing that I think Starfield did really well, and I really liked their star map with the biomes, and they told you what was in the biomes, right? Like, you would do a scan, and then you would find out what was in the biomes. I would love to see that in a thing like Star Citizen, where you would, Tundra Copian Horn can be found somewhere in some spots around the equator of Microtech, right? But not the entire equator of Microtech. So it would be nice if we had, UI systems like that. And I'm sure we'll talk more about UI when we get to the monthly report. But new hairstyles, okay. And then the SMG, which is very cool. Big fan of that gun. And then the component balance pass, which I think they're doing the right way. They seem to be doing very small, incremental, well, somewhat small. Some are actually quite big. Skipped taking on the Polaris mission. Okay. The hunt for the Polaris mission is whatever's in the next event. And I'm going to be honest with you. Until we know what the reward is, I just have no interest. I have no interest in playing a mission that is likely going to bug out and not complete, because it doesn't like, it has issues and isn't completing all the time. And no, I didn't see it. I did skip it over by accident. I'm just telling you my thoughts about it. Is I did it once. It was broken, and it was fun because it like involves the ambush style. It involves the patrol style of missions, which are all pretty cool, new, and fun. But these kind of missions or these kind of events where it's like everybody comes together and kills the big ship, they're always just kind of ruined. And yeah, especially since there's only one active at a time, and like whatever, it's always the cart before the horse thing. The game is not ready for this mission, yet they keep trying to force it, whether it's Xeno threat or shit like this. I'm just tired of it, and I don't care. I will care once I find out the reward, and I will do it for the reward, most likely regardless what the reward is, because I like to collect things. And then I will move on and never talk about this again. Just like CIG, right? Because these are like one-off things that won't happen again. Obviously, the patrol and ambush style missions are still going to stay and are very cool and stuff like that. But for whatever reason, I am just so not caring about the Polaris thing. Now, back to the component balance pass. They've made some like big changes with like shield generators that are military grade. But I don't think they've done anything to really like kill the what would it be called? The stealth meta too much just yet, because they're doing more smaller incremental stuff, and instead of nerfing, trying to buff other things. I like what they're doing with that. I think that's the right way to go. This is kind of cool. I'm really kind of pumped for this. Is they're adding the following special ships to Wicklow's Emporium. The Star Lancer Max, which is cool. So I fully plan on playing with an alt account that just has like a cutter. I no longer want to play on my main account anymore. I am constantly talking about how there's no progression in this game. I'm going to play on an account just like a new player, and that is it. Like, that is for the next few months, outside of like doing mining stuff with my org mates, I am not playing on my main account, period. I will not be logging into it, simply because I don't think I can be critical about the game and its progression systems if I'm not participating in them. So it's time we sit down and we actually start doing that. And I might do like some extra wrinkles where I don't want to involve myself in maybe the mission systems as much. And, you know, Wicklow allows you to do some of that stuff. So anyway, Star Lancer Max, Saber Firebird, Saber Peregrine, Zeus ES, Zeus CL, Crusader Intrepid, which who cares? Now, it says with top-grade components, which is interesting. Hold that thought for the monthly report. Hold that thought, because it says with top-grade components. These ships can be unlocked by bringing NPC Wicklow a number of favors in exchange of rewards. And we know that we can get favors a lot easier now with military and council script. Now, the rest of this is all retroactive bullshit, which is essentially just padding the roadmap update and making it look like something actually happened. All of this stuff is stuff that's already been released and has been released literally like a month ago. But they are putting them on the roadmap update, and I think that that is a good and healthy thing for them to do. So I don't think that this is malicious or anything like that. I don't think that they're like padding it in a way that they're trying to be like, see, look at all the things that we did. But I think it's really healthy that like every once in a while we'll be critical about the game and be like, they didn't do anything for the last 6 months. But then you go back and you look, and they're breaking it down to the minutia of what they did. So they're adding a lot of cards. So if you want to look at it and go, they did 19 updates in the 4.1 cycle for gameplay, then that might be construed or used as like, hey, they're trying to make it look like they did a lot of things. But when you want to actually look back at what they did, having them broken out into individual little things is a good reminder of all the things that were actually done. And it has like a little detail of what happens. So I like that personally, that they're doing this, but I think that they're also doing it to be like, look at all the things that we did when it didn't add up to a better experience or whatever, right? Then yeah, we scroll down to the progress tracker, and the only thing that sticks out is this. Everything is redacted. So there's going to be another sandbox activity, another sandbox location, and another creature and vehicle. Cool. But radiation gameplay is coming in, which is something that we saw at CitizenCon 2023. And that's it. I don't think that there's anything else that is worth pointing out that's super exciting or that matters really, because they've already happened. We've already discussed them and so on. So with that, let's go right into the monthly report, because there is a lot of stuff here. Radiation status pens have been in for a while. Are the radiation pens the ones that look like med pens that you get at CZs? and you put them on, and then when you go to do a med pen, it doesn't do anything. Okay, I forgot the name of those, but yeah, they're colored the exact same as med pens, which is hilarious. So for AI content is a good place to start. They're still looking for ways to convey the overarching PU stories. I don't know when this was written. I believe this is in the game now, and that is the like Jared's newscast. It's in the PTU. I saw it yesterday, so yeah, that's a thing that is being mentioned there, which is cool, I guess. I think that's what it is. And then AI features, they talk about the Junior Valacar and how they're going to be able to set up and do more attacks and different things with it. Cool, I guess. I mean, right now it feels Omega basic. And I mean, honestly, for the last, like, what, 3 weeks, they haven't really worked in the PTU. So there's that as well. Then more stuff for AI reactions, their first reactions, and how they escalate and all that stuff. They've been working on this forever. Every time I look at these, all I see is Squadron 42 stuff for the most part. I don't think the Valacar necessarily, maybe. But in general, I just see all of this work is being done in Squadron 42, and they just write it down for the PU because it will eventually make it to the PU, right? That kind of thing. That's what it feels like to me because they write things here every single month, huge paragraphs about all the things they do, and then a lot of that stuff is just not visualized in the PTU or in the PU, excuse me, at all. And then this one is just trying to make the mission system better. So for AI and stuff, making it easier for them to do things with that. AI tech is also interesting because it's starting to it continues to involve like ground vehicles. I think we've seen this for well over a year now. NPCs driving ground vehicles, yet we've never seen them drive out ground vehicles in the PU. I don't think. Maybe during a Pyro playtest or something at one point, like a long time ago, but I'm pretty sure those were players. I don't know why that's coming into my head. And then there was something, if I remember correctly. Yeah, here's a big one. They had some funny, goofy stuff with Boyds spawning and despawning that caused a ton of issues on the server, I'm pretty sure. And then I swear, here it is. A new nav spline creator tool was implemented that allows designers to record player ship movements and transform the captured data into a nav spline that can be utilized by ship AI. Starscript functionality was also extended as requested by designers to create new missions and behaviors. So what we might see then through this is ships coming and going from stations. But who knows on that one, right? These are the things that can like make the game feel a little bit more alive on the planet's surface, but hard to say. Animation, Valacar, mission givers, world NPCs. What are world NPCs mean? And then they're working on a new creature, which they've sneak peeked the cow with the blue milk or whatever, remember? So I'm assuming that's what that is. And then ship art. TAC. 3 new ships are going to be released at Invictus. So we think that there's... I'm not going to do it because you guys are just going to leak. But I think we know that there's like a missile guardian and a TAC. But outside that, don't share any leaks. Don't share any names in the Twitch chat because people get pissed off about it. So do I. It's annoying. We'll get surprised when we see it. Or we'll see it on ISC today. Because I watched this the next day. Or I read this the next day. Unannounced vehicles. The first is progressing through white box. The second is approaching gray box review. And the third, which was briefly shown on a recent episode of Inside Star Citizen, that has to be either the Guardian one or the one that looked like the it's Anvil, right? Or Aegis. Anvil Salvager? Did they show the Salvager on Inside Star Citizen or on Star Citizen Live? Yeah, I don't think it's the RSI Salvager, guys. I mean, that would be cool. More salvage ships to add that do everything worse than the Vulture. I think it's probably bottom right of the thing. So I don't know, but what was it? It's the ship that got the buffs to 90 SCU. It looked like that ship. Everyone was pointing it out to me. I thought it was a Cutlass, but they were all saying it was a Valkyrie. Yeah, it looks like a Valkyrie or something. Bottom right of the uh Invictus video, but was that in an ISC? So no, I can't be right there. I'm gonna go with it's the Guardian, and that's it. But again, I have no idea, so who cares? The Pioneer continued through pre-production and white box phases, so this thing is super far away. I mean, does anybody really think we're getting it this year? It's bigger than the Idris, right? Like, there's no way. Numerous paints were also created for new and existing ships, of course. And then North America, closing out 2 variants with polishing and bug fixing. And an all new ship progressed too, with the recent decisions being made on cargo capacity and tractor beam placement. Hopefully, you guys got this one right for once in your lives. If you deliver a 3 high cargo, I'm going to flip. If you deliver 3 high cargo, I'm going to flip. Please, 2 or 4 people, 2 or 4. Don't do 3. 3 is bad. Please do not do 3. That's all I ask. Apollo continued through Greybox with new concepts for the Medbay area and bridge. And then finally for ships, we're continuing on the Perseus. All right. Community. Who cares? Then core gameplay, stabilizing, classic. And then let's get to the actual stuff. Sorry, I heard the dog somewhere, but she's not in the room. Issues with quantum travel they're trying to work, and freight elevators and ship claiming. It doesn't feel like you're working on any of those things. I don't think any of those things have ended up in a live server yet. Although the quantum stuff they have been trying to put fixes in, but I don't think that they've worked as of today yet. I have not tried the Wednesday night patch yet, though. I'm about to. Elsewhere, the team analyzed performance capture, seeing where the gains. Okay. Here's something that you should really pay attention to. There are several more ongoing initiatives across the core gameplay teams that are either for the next few releases, longer term, or for Squadron 42. How many of those tasks do you think are on the first thing, the second thing, or the third thing? I got a funny feeling like the third thing is the number one priority. Because, however, much of the work done for Squadron 42 will also be relevant to Star Citizen. So these teams work across both projects. Sure, they do. What is it? 90% on Squadron 42, 10% on Star Citizen? I don't know if that's actually the case, but when it comes to core gameplay right now, it doesn't feel like any tasks are being done for future stuff or making new content. And again, that was the expectation of this year. So if we're having anger about that or angst or whatever, they told us, they let us know what it was going to be like. But I do think that this is some wordsmithing here that's a little bit odd. Most of the work is probably on Squadron for anything that is pushing the game forward outside of like quality of life stuff, right? I think that they're, whoever's on the PU right now is more bug fixing and quality of life. Elsewhere, core gameplay added updates to the engineering UI screen, including countdown warnings for catastrophic explosions and reinstated and advanced the diagnostic MFDs. Okay. But yeah, again, back to this. Who knows? the first half of the year has been pretty rough. They keep hinting at like features being worked on throughout the year. So, I could be entirely wrong here. And you know what? I really hope I am. There's something, if there's any moment that I want to be completely 100% wrong, it's on this paragraph. Further improvements were made to ship death. Here's some big stuff. For example, fatal damage behaviors now require a significant impact. In addition, now I don't know what a significant impact means. Do they mean collision? Or what there? Yeah, Jared said they'll return to features at some point during this year, so maybe they're already doing that. Exactly. In addition, catastrophic misfires can now be triggered by nearby items failing due to severe damage. So if a shield is next to a power plant, then and the shield has a catastrophic failure, it could cause misfires to the power plant or something. That's interesting. Improvements to deactivating soft death were also completed, and its effects can be enabled separately. Very nice. So, yeah. I'm assuming, for example, fatal damage behaviors now require significant impact. In addition, catastrophic misfires can now be triggered by nearby items failing due to severe damage. I'm just reading what was written. Like, if you're going to be one of those people in chat, just don't. I'm reading what is written. If you're going to be one of those people that go, board gamer is a shill because he's reading what is written, don't talk. I don't know what else to say. You're being unreasonable. So just stop. Improvements to deactivating soft death is a really big thing. Now, this is another thing that I have no idea what's going on here, but it's really, it's getting annoying. I'll just say that. For the flight experience, the team enabled the new space flight mode. So we're just master modes are changing a lot, and okay. Yeah. So obviously this could be taken a positive way or a negative way. It's like so many people were critical about master modes and not liking the direction that the game is currently in. And it sounds like they're doing something with it. So yeah. You don't read all Yogi's posts? No, I don't. The flight model stuff, I am so tired of being pulled in 30 different directions. I just want to know when they're like actually happy with it so I can start trying to like understand it. I'm tired. I just am tired of like spending time trying to get better and then going, you know what? We're not going to stick with this. So they're currently resolving bugs related to AI ship motion alongside outstanding work on the takeoff and landing experience. Several new game modes were added to allow them to test a new flight mode in the future. So they're getting Arena Commander updates, but we're not. Sad. Maybe we'll get those. Due to the data setup, both new and existing models can be tested separately without affecting each other. That's kind of good. So they can see the difference. An overhaul of control surface tech began. As such, flying in atmosphere and especially gliding is much more realistic thanks to believable and aerodynamic behaviors, such as the nose falling in turns or accurate drag on large AOAs. Okay, who plays DCS? What's going on here? I'm assuming this means we can no longer nose down, which is like angle of attack. Gotcha. So nose downing is going away. Is that what that means? It's kind of like, yeah, hover mode is coming back. Maybe. But we'll see. I have no idea. That is a pure guess. Yeah, it sounds like there's going to be space flight and atmospheric flight, and that they will be very separate. And yeah. These read like no nose down at speed. I have no idea. I have no idea. So for the, Avenger ones, Virgils of the worlds, that's for you guys to explain, not for me. I certainly have no idea. I'll just play however it works. April saw an update to the new quantum tech, in addition to adding slow speed variant of quantum boosting that I hope we have control over. That would be amazing. The devs resolved several bugs and improved reliability and performance. It also features improved ways for the mission designers to control the flow for AI ships. Further work will focus on improving the current experience and making it compatible with multiplayer. So it's a Squadron 42 thing that they're still trying to get over with the multiplayer. Classic. And then here's another one. Optimize scan wave mechanic to be as responsive as possible with a focus on overwhelming contact environments where hundreds or thousands of contacts are processed in a short period of time. Okay. Alongside this, the team continued to polish FPS radar and scanning gameplay via regular playtests. April's work included adjusting the direct formula, highlighting visuals, and disabling the influence signature system to improve it to better serve the intended gameplay. Okay. Yeah, nose downing is when somebody is in an FPS pack maniac and a ship just points down at it and shoots its guns, where the player in FPS is at an overwhelming disadvantage, and the player in the ship is impossible to kill unless you have a railgun, right? So, and even then, they'll likely kill you before you can kill them with a railgun shot, depending on the size of the ship. So it's this power imbalance. Like, it is much easier for the ship in flight than it is for the person on the ground. And yeah. Radar wise, I feel like something here is saying why they decided to do the scanning changes to where, like, you're not going to know a ship's name unless you scan it. Because they've made some improvements internally, but we don't have them yet. But that's just a guess. And then lastly, the team iterated on the box out display for radar contacts, optimizing and refining marker placement. Design also began setting up which objects will be detectable by radar and scanning in the PU. Hopefully we get separate radars of some kind. But, like, maybe not separate radars, but a radar that is better at spotting, like, rocks or spotting salvage over spotting ships. But it has to be able to spot ships, because how do you know if somebody is near you ready to kill you if you're in, like, a prospector, let's say. I do hope there's, like, a bunch of radar slots or a bunch of different radar types, and you could tune them or something. That would be amazing. Several major bugs were fixed, including whole sea stuff. For refineries, team added this is all the stuff for the bags, which is awesome. For people who don't know, you can now refine from mining bags. It doesn't consume the bag. You get the bag right back. And after you refine, you can place all that stuff into your local inventory, and it doesn't have to go directly into a ship, which is amazing. Turkey just says, Mike and chat, I just tested the raft with mining bags. It works. You can snap it now in the PTU. We will be checking that. That's awesome. So that likely means that the Star Lancer will work. That likely means that everything with a 2-high grid will work. So, yeah, a lot of ships just got a lot better. A lot of cargo ships just got small, like a hull A just got incredibly useful. So we'll have to check. Don't know if that's true or not yet, but I will check it. Economy-wise, these clowns, until they actually do something that improves the economy, I have nothing happy to say or good to say about anything that will be written here. Regardless if it makes sense or not, there have been things that have made sense, and then everything else in the game, I don't even know if it's these guys' fault. I doubt it even is. It's the Pledge Store's fault, obviously. We know it, whose fault it is. It's marketing in the Pledge Store. That just makes their job impossible, I think. So, last month, the economy team was involved in new content coming in Alpha 4.1, including items and vehicles for Invictus. Okay. They also supported the design of several new mission archetypes, some of which have the chance to impact the universe in a more permanent manner. So that is definitely something to do with like respawning, right? That's permanent, permadeath. That's the connection I'm making. I don't know if you're making it. The team began looking into making the economy more dynamic. Sure you are, buddy. Sure you are. We're studying different economic models from history and fiction to get a better impression of how the economy will feel when it's fully fledged. The economy team. Cold press Latinum when? Yeah, like what? I hope they're when they say fiction. I just basically hope they're talking about Eve, but it's impossible. It's impossible. With everything else that the game is involved, Eve is impossible. So get Eve out of your mind. And Eve economy will never exist in this game because they actively fight against it. Like it is not a thing. It won't happen. So just get that out of your mind. Because again, this exists. So, like, what? The team also discussed the next iteration of item recovery and how it will influence the prices and exclusivity of different items. Work then continued on the back-end shop refactor that will provide the tools to start building a better shop experience. All right. So, if you buy things on the store, you'll get them, you'll have them forever, and exclusivity doesn't matter then. Or exclusivity for using your fucking credit card. Like, that's instantly how I read that. Like, are they making this game like the pledge store doesn't exist or something? And then, because like, there is no working for or exclusivity when there's a pledge store where you're buying these things. So I'm very curious how they plan on dealing with this, right? If I'm not mistaken, there's only one armor that you can buy on the pledge store that's involved with the Hathor thing. Am I correct on that? And then there's a whole slew of armors that are available in-game. So I'm pretty sure they have the ability to like work with this a little bit without the pledge store getting away in the way too much. But I'm not 100% sure because I didn't buy anything on the pledge store as far as armor, and I will not. I refuse to. I loved the racing suits. I thought they were so cool, but I refuse to do it because I think it's just feeding bad behavior, and everything. Like, again, if they were skins, it's one thing, but they're not. They're items, and that's just a weird thing to do in a game that you want a dynamic economy with, or a player-driven economy. It's just very odd. So skins, cool. If they're not skins, not cool. I'll buy ship skins all day, but yeah, even then, they're not skins. So I just hope they are a skin that goes in a database that you can apply to things, but that'll never happen either. And then, yeah, they continued to create a comprehensive data plan to provide better and faster information about what players like the most. Yes, let's go off the incredibly skewed data of nobody who plays video games playing the current game, right? Like, going off current feedback to develop your game long term is a dangerous thing. I think it's incredibly dangerous. Like, what players do now versus what players will do when your game is released are likely entirely different things. I think that's super dangerous and a slippery slope, but they gotta take data in, right? And I think I'm also, my brain is skewed towards like absolutely brain dead Spectrum posts and Reddit posts, and then I'm applying those dummies to the entire player base, and that can't possibly be fair. But Like, there's no way that like a day in and out MMO player is playing Star Citizen regularly, right? Like those like I play I play an MMO every day. Players are playing MMOs that are actually able to be played every day and behaving in those games in a way that you literally cannot behave in Star Citizen. There's no progression systems, there's no economy, there's no, you know what I mean? Like there's just so much missing from the game. The data you're getting just can't possibly inform you very well. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is the type of player and what players are even able to do is a tough one. So I wonder what they're considering, like what players like the most. Is it what they're buying, potentially what they're using, how many things are dying with said things, like certain ships and stuff? Maybe, but yeah. And then mission design is all about like the ambush and patrol stuff. And then, yes, this. Updates were made to Wicklow, including the things they are willing to trade. To prevent the farming of rare components, ships rewarded by Wicklow will now only feature their unique paint, while the components will be added to the Emporium. How does that prevent the farming of them? That's my only critique here. But I love this because this is what I wanted to see from the barter in the first place. Obviously, like the insurance thing exists, which is a problem on so many levels. But the idea of like, I have these items and I would like that item, and you go to Wicklow and you go, here are these items, may I have this item? And he gives it to you, is nice. I like that. Is this to stop insurance fraud? How will it? It won't, because you just place the item onto a ship, take the item off, repair it, and do the same thing that you would always do to do the insurance fraud. This changes nothing. But it makes Wicklow a proper barter now, if this is the way they want to do it. But then again, if we go back to here, right, all the 4.1.1 stuff comes with top grade components. So, like, what is it? I think this is a post 4.1.1 thing. I don't think that's something that's in 4.1.1. So that'll be in 4.1.2 or 4.2 or whatever it's going to be called next. I'm not sure what it's going to be called, but there's a little contradiction in the two communications there. But I think this is one of the biggest things that gets us to away from Wicklow being a loot crate experience where you're farming materials and rolling whether or not you're going to get the thing that you want. Because I think that's kind of a shit experience, to be perfectly honest with you. I think for CZs, it sort of works. But at the same time, like, if you really want the Corsair from the CZs and you've gotten the Sulin like 6 times and you can't even sell the Sulin and get rid of it from your account, like that gets kind of annoying, right? It's just kind of shit. So, yeah, I do hope that the components are like, you want this component? Give me these items. Sure thing, Wicklow. You go and get them. You get the component you want, and you're good. I don't like the gambling aspect of it. It's annoying. And then narrative, they're doing more capture sessions, and we want voice lines, but what I've seen so far has been kind of iffy. So I know Foxy did testing on that where you do a ship surprise and you get the ship stock and the extra parts in the freight elevator. Okay. So I haven't done any Wicklow in the PTU, but I guess Foxy did. So maybe that's what this means, is they come outside of the ship. And then you put them in? Do what Eve never could, CIG, add a casino. There are casinos in Eve. I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't stop dipping. Yeah, this is a weird one. So I don't know why doing this, but they certainly have their reasons. I would love to hear what it is. And then here's hinting at whatever's coming next. There's a new sandbox activity. There's going to be new locations. So the narrative team is focused on like what it's going to be called, what it's going to feel like, what it looks like, signage, things like that. And then they're already planning their 2026 stories. A lot of people are guessing the big worm. Maybe. Online technology is interesting here as well. We're going to respawn faster, apparently. No, Eve currently has casinos, Zalea. HyperNet is a casino, 100%. Why not Knicks? I don't know. That's an interesting question. Do you want them to continue to like build out horizontally? Go look up what a HyperNet is. Go look up HyperNet. Go look up Hypercores in Eve. It's degenerate gambling. Anyway, like, do you want them to build out horizontally and be like, all right, guys, you got Stanton, you got Pyro, you got Knicks, you got Terra, you got Castra. But then, like, they're not adding the content to these locations at all. Casinos were banned in Eve, but they're player casinos. Guys, CCP runs the casinos in Eve now. Just go check. End of conversation. Go check. Go look up Hypercores, please. And HyperNet. Then research and development is all about clouds and weather and shit we don't need, but looks really cool. And then the last two, I know about the casino wars and the casinos and everything. I know about all that, but those aren't around anymore. I'm talking about, like, there is gambling in Eve still. That's it. We're not arguing about this. I literally play it every day. There's gambling in Eve. And then there's also, like, abyssal things as well, which is like Korean MMO gambling stuff as well. Like rolling for good gear and shit. But anyway, we're going to end on this. UI and VFX together. Last month, the UI team worked to implement unique UI styles for several upcoming vehicles. They also supported upcoming events and created environmental UI to support the gameplay and storytelling. Instead of fixing the Mobi-Glass, instead of making the fucking maps work, instead of putting markers down, instead of doing all the things that you said you were doing at CitizenCon, instead of social UI, right? Like, it's so annoying. Guys, I don't hate that CIG makes money. I do not hate that CIG makes money. What I hate is that the UI team implemented unique UI styles for upcoming vehicles that they want to sell, instead of fixing the fucking game that would sell better than those ships would. It would sell all of the ships in the game instead of the 2 new vehicles that they had to add unique UI to. That's the shit that grinds my gears, man. And when you hear me complain about ship sales, I don't give a shit if Chris Roberts becomes the richest man on planet Earth. I'd be happy if he did. But the fact that the biggest bottleneck and the biggest thing that blocks the game from going forward, quality of life wise, bug fixing wise, and everything, is that drives me nuts. I cannot stand that. And then again, VFX completed their tasks on vehicles and weapons for Invictus launch week. Nothing about the game. Right? And it's just like, there are tasks that are such a high priority for players. And then there's the tasks for the marketing team. And those always go first. And the problem is that we're in the never-ending loop of this never stopping. So every time you don't push the game forward to make it function and have the features and things that you say you were going to do that everyone was excited about and want to use, you're going to have to continue to implement unique UI styles for several upcoming vehicles because you're going to need the money to keep the doors open. And they just keep doing that. It's awful, man. It's awful. Like, again, like the selling of spaceships, it's over. It's never going to go away. Post-launch, they're still going to do it. But it just bothers me that, like, the bottlenecks of the game are like, man, if the devs had another week to work on the bugs for that event that they're running, Hathor, for example, if they had another couple weeks to work on, if Hathor worked before they released it, they would sell more spaceships. Period. How many Polarises would they sell if Hathor worked and it was just Polaris battles all day? Right? Like, that's the arguments I'm trying to make here. Is I want them to make more money. I don't want them to make less. That's the problem. And it just drives me nuts. It seems like they're just shooting themselves in the foot over and over and over again with this stuff. It's like UI is the biggest bottleneck, but they're working on spaceships instead of the player experience, which is why people get frustrated by the game. Now, again, they're making more money than they've ever done. They're also running more sales than they've ever done. So good for them. I hope the doors stay open and everything's great. But I hope they actually make the game too. So, yeah. It's probably a Squadron 42 thing that's getting in the way also, is that the UI team is just 1,000% on Squadron and fuck the PU. And we'll do whatever we need for the PU, which is always just going to be vehicles first. So the more I think about it, that's probably what's going on, which is also something that you just can't control. Squadron's got to go out the door, and then things will be better. But, yeah. Who knows? Who knows? But that's it. That's everything as far as roadmap update and stuff. We got a lot to look at in the Wednesday night patch that I always check out on Thursday morning. So let's check that stuff out. So, yeah, we got what? Mining bags, and then the multi-crew ship turrets and capacitors that we got to check out. So exciting.